The question was posed as to whether you could use the questions that AI actually generates for you and be able to bring those into Moodle in a pretty easy way. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how using Diffit and Diffit's ability to create questions, you can actually copy those questions out and easily import them into a Moodle class. In this Moodle class here, we're going to be importing stuff into this little help topic under the example quiz. Now, earlier when I've created this quiz, there was no questions actually in there. And what I wanted to do was to be able to bring questions in and then categorize the questions so that I can actually use them in a variety of different ways. So if I go down here into my question bank, all right, I could click on it and a host of questions that are already there will actually pop up. So if I go into my example area here, I have example help questions. You can see that currently I have no questions in there. I've also made subcategories in there of level 1 and level 2. Now with those, I can actually put questions in and then add those to quizzes when I want to increase the difficulty of questions or decrease the difficulty of questions. So for right now, we're going to go back to our topic that we have on Diffit. This one I chose photosynthesis. And under that, we have 10th grade, and we went with a chemistry standard that is Ohio-based standard. It gives you lots of different information and stuff that you can use with it, but one of the things that it has with it is multiple choice questions. Now, these are the multiple choice questions that are auto-generated. I have selected it to show the answers because we're going to want to have those answers along with it when we actually create our import file. So at this point here, these are pretty much knowledge-based questions, but I can actually add more if I'd like to by hitting add. And here I can go for comprehension, simple reasoning, strategic thinking, extended thinking. You can kind of think of these questions as moving up or down the level of depth of knowledge in Bloom's taxonomy. So let's start out first something simple. We're going to go with comprehension, and those ones would be level 1 questions. As you can see, this one goes up to level 4. So we're going to go with level 1, and I want 5 new questions added to this. Click the get. Wait for them to generate. As you can see now, I have 8 questions. All right. Now what I want to be able to do with these is just simply go in and highlight all the questions and everything that's actually inside these inside this particular box of questions. And once I have that, I can right click and copy these. Now I need to put these in a file. The type of file we're looking for is notebook. So you just start typing in a notebook in the search. It will pop up for you. And you'll have a blank sheet before you, and you can just paste those into there. Now with this, you're going to want to actually save it quickly so that you can find it and import it when you want to. We're going to actually save this, and I'm going to put it in my just my regular downloads. And under this one, I'm just going to call it comp questions for photo. So you could actually add anything you want to it because the name of the file doesn't matter. It's just something that will help you retrieve the information once you are finished putting it together. So at this point, it seems like things are kind of jumbled up all over the place. They fix themselves relatively quickly. But to have this thing in the correct format, there's certain parts that you will want to actually get rid of. And they go relatively quickly. One thing is that everywhere that it actually will say answers on here, the answer part needs to be in bold. So you'll see right here this word answer, all right, not bold, excuse me, they'll need to be in all caps. An easy fix to this is to hit Control H while you're in here. All right, and for this one, I will have the regular spelling on there, and then actually go ahead and tell it to replace all of them. And in doing so, all of them will now actually be capitalized, so I don't need this anymore. And for those first few questions that actually had the state standards on them, I'll want to actually delete those because I don't want this tag information coming along with it. It will just actually complicate it later on. So I only have that in 3 of those. I will also want to get rid of any of the numbers that go along with the questions. All right. And so you can see that, the more questions you generate, this will take a little bit of time, but it is well worth it because you're going to see that we've made 8 questions in just a fraction of the time, and we'll be able to upload those in no time at all. So all I've done is highlighted and deleted those. Now, things that I also do not need in this is wherever these blanks are. All right. So I just go up to those, backspace, like that, backspace, backspace, and so forth. And you can see that as I'm doing these, well, I should say not backspace, but I'm deleting. As I'm deleting these, I keep going through there, and things start to clean themselves up pretty quick. You'll see, though, that there are the question and answers run right after one another. There's no spaces in this, and that is important. You need to make sure that you stay in the format that's set up like this so that when it comes through, it will import the questions with the correct answers with no mistakes. So under this, we have all of our questions in here. Everything's nice and neat. I do not need any of the parts that go beyond the letter for the correct answer. So I just highlight what I don't need and delete it as I go through these. Now, if you happen to ever run across questions that already have it spelled out without the answer duplicated, it would go a little bit faster. But as you can see, we've gotten down here. We're on our last question, like this. And I've got everything in the way that I want. All the things look nice and neat with question, possible answers, and the answer itself. And at this point, I can hit save again. So you can see it's now comp questions for photo. I can actually minimize this if I want to because it's already saved. And now I can go back over to Moodle. And now that I'm under the example help, I will go down and pick my level 1 questions. And now that I'm in my level 1 category, I can come down and import questions. So I just click import here. And my format is the one right here at the top, Aiken. And I'm going to choose my file. The file I'm going to go for is a file upload. Choose my file. I go into my downloads folder, and right there is my questions. I can actually double click on it. It goes through. I hit the upload this file, and now that file is ready, I can import it. And as I do that, you'll get nice green lines here, all right, that tells you that everything has actually come in successfully and they numbered off all the questions. I can hit continue, and now I actually have all those new 8 questions in there. I can keep doing that for multiple different categories that I actually have. I can keep continuing adding new questions when I want to. In this way, I can also export the questions from here in the same manner as well. So if I were to come back into Diffit and add more questions into it, say like I click add, and now I want to get 5 more that are done a different way. All right, these ones would be level 2 questions. I could easily just come down and say, give me 5 more of those, and those ones will appear down here after 8. And I just basically go through the same process again. I'm going to pick these ones that run down to here. I can copy them. I can go back in, get my notebook, put these ones back in the notebook again, paste them in, and run through the same process that I did earlier by hitting Control H, and I'm going to change all the ones that say answer lowercase to answer uppercase, like this, replace all, like that, and I just basically go back through and take off those little pieces that I do not need. And as you can see, lickety split, I'm actually adding new stuff, new questions in with no trouble whatsoever. And however you like to actually remove it is up to you, just as long as the format stays the same across all of them, everything should work just fine. And I think you can see there's all of our questions. There you go. You can see I've got another 5 questions there. These are actually level 2 questions. So if I wanted to, I could say save as and go back in again. Let's say that these ones are these ones were comprehensive. These ones I could say make it easier for myself. They're level 2 questions. And save on that. I've got 5 new questions I can add in. Come back over, go up to level 2. You can see here I am in my example. Go into my level 2 questions. Go for an import. Go again with an Ankin format. Choose the file. As I select the file I want, which would be my level 2 questions. Upload that. Now that it's ready, I can go for an import. There are my 5 new questions. I hit continue, and now I can select these. Now if I go back to my example quiz, at this point, if I'd like to, I can actually add questions. I was like, what kind of questions would I want to add? I can come over here and I can actually say randomly, I'd like to pick, let's say, I go down to my example. I go down to example 1. I could say I want 2 questions from that one and add those ones in. And then I could come back over and say I want to randomly go grab, level 2 questions, and I'd like to have 2 level 2 questions in that. Now the nice thing is when I do this, it's randomly going to pull those questions from those depth of knowledge, whether they're comprehensive or moving up into more difficult levels. So you can do this with just about any ones that you come through. Diffit happens to create questions that are pretty well aligned to it. There are also questions that you can use in Brisk. So if I were to actually come in here, all right, and use Brisk, you can actually create questions and create quiz questions in Brisk, and it will give you something very similar to it. All you have to do is create it in the same format, and you're good to go. Just remember that the format will look like this does here, with your question followed by possible answers for multiple choice, and then the correct answer, which should be, as you know from our example, here it should say answer in all caps and colon space and then the answer. If you use that format, you should have no problem importing just as many questions you want to in as many categories as you want to, so that you can actually make sure that you're giving the best possible questions for your students. Thank you for watching our video.